And we're back, everybody!
Yeah, we had this is a new recording session because we ran out of time and then had to leave and then recorded it the next week.
I had a kitten to go and feed, and kittens are not known for their patience.
Yeah,
or their large stomachs.
I'm like half asleep right now, so I'm gonna just open an energy drink. There we go. Strawberry lime. Now then, I would like to resume our trial. Judge, Miles Edgeworth has admitted to his own guilt. He has confessed his crime.
We argue reasonable insanity.
Miles Edgeworth goes, objection, I am completely sane. I was like, you cannot say that about yourself.
You're part of that family. There's no way you're sane.
Let us begin by hearing his testimony. Then, though pointless, let the defense do their cross-examining.
Because
the statute of limitations on the DL6 incident runs out today. Though it is unconventional for me, I would like to run this one by the book. I see.
So you don't run any of your other trials by the book?
The books lie.
They only serve to make me taller.
I see.
I just
Does
imagine
the defense
him on
have
like a stack of books trying to be taller than where the judge is
And he's
sitting.
actually only like 3 foot tall. It's just like,
desperately-
Judge, I've got no torso. It's like, so that's why you do the incredibly deep voice.
Because you're actually just 3 kids stacked up in a trench coat.
No,
trying
just
to
2.5.
Men or kids?
Okay, I get the joke. Does the defense have any objections? No, Your Honor. Von Karma, you knew this was going to happen from the very beginning, didn't you?
Well, probably because he knows Miles better than you do at this point.
Very well.
Guilty.
Will Miles Edward take the stand?
What a shifty eyes.
Will the witness state his name and profession?
I'm a demon, and I go demoning.
Miles Edgeworth, prosecuting attorney. Mr. Edgeworth, 15 years ago you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth. Is this correct? It is correct. Then testify about this matter to the court. When Edgeworth was telling me about his dream yesterday, I noticed something. One detail didn't quite fit. That'll be the key if I can get it to work.
Please, please. DL6 incident. Okay.
That day I was gone from the courtroom to observe, I had gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake trapping us in the... An earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator.
You
I'm
okay
like missing...
You okay there, Edgeworth?
No, I'm skipping every other letter because I'm half asleep and I just drank a bunch of energy drink suddenly. My father and Mr. Yogi had lost their composure and began to argue.
One of the things that strikes out to me is just by this placement. If he's... Okay, no way. That trajectory would still work if the gun turns right. I'm like trying to already try and see if there's any holes that we can poke in this. Because obviously Miles is mistaken. He didn't kill his dad.
How do you know that?
Because he's Miles Edgeworth.
Yeah, but how do you know that?
Because he's Miles Edgeworth. He said his own name. Of course I know who he is. And something heavy fell at my feet.
Yeah. Sorry, I was double checking something really quickly.
You need help with it?
No, I'm good. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi. I had wanted them to stop fighting.
Well, no one said that you were the smartest kid, but you were starting to succumb to oxygen deprivation.
A moment later, there was a single gunshot, then
This
a scream.
is what gets me. the safety should have been on the gun. Otherwise, the Yanni Yogi must have been planning to kill somebody if the safety was still on. But I'm pretty sure that that's not the avenue to go with, because the game's not that smart.
Can I see the court record for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure about that. Okay. It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. It was like, whatever. Yeah, that's all.
Gregory Edwards said whatever as he was dying.
No, I just kind of gave up halfway through the scream. I guess it doesn't really matter. Besides the scream, up until now, you thought the memory was just a dream, right? Oh, you were stuck in that elevator for about 5 hours.
I fell unconscious for 3 of them.
The fact that there was no central oxygen to there was, you know, kind of weird, but who knows?
Troubling.
Maybe, yeah, like maybe it's an old building. Who knows? The oxygen in the elevator ran out. I lost my memory of the events. Oh, same claim Mr. Yogi has made. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor.
Miles, you're innocent! We had this talk 15 times over the last case.
You can't prove the fact that I have feelings about the event.
Okay.
That day I had gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials.
I guess we...
So, was the trial your father was involved... What was the trial your father was involved in that day? I don't remember things very clearly. Only 2 things. I know my father lost, and Mr. Von Karma was the prosecuting attorney.
We're gonna need to remember that.
Mr. Von Karma, you were handling that case? 15 years ago. I don't remember the details.
I don't even think he spares the brain space to remember breakfast yesterday. He just stores pedantic information about his current cases and numbers to bribe people with.
That was when Edgeworth pointed out the problem in Von Karma's evidence.
But there's nothing we can do about that right now. Okay.
So, there were 3 people, including yourself, trapped in the elevator? Yes, myself, my father, and Yanni Yogi. We were fine at first, and at the same time, but then as time passed, no one came to help. Sorry, I was yawning at the time.
Edgeworth really has Phoenix at this one. He's like,
Well, I was a 9-year-old boy at the time. What could I do?
what did you want me to do, Phoenix? Wrestle him to the ground with my bare hands. Don't be ridiculous.
I was scared, trembling in the corner.
Yeah?
But then...
This is the part that's also kind of weird. Was there must have been an initial struggle for a gun. Because why would the gun suddenly fall out of his holster?
I guess you're right.
You know,
Seems
there's
a bit
just
weird.
some things about this case that's especially eyebrow-raising. And I'm surprised Edgeworth hasn't rubbed 2 brain cells together enough to figure it out. He didn't do it. It's obvious he didn't do it. And you shouldn't be trying to charge someone who was 9 years old at the time with murder. He was 9, in an elevator shaft, quickly losing oxygen.
Okay. So what was it? A pistol.
Why?
I assume it was the bailiff's.
That's even more eyebrow raising.
Safety must have come off when it fell from his holster.
I don't believe that.
And you picked it up? What happened next? I picked it up and threw it. Did you know it was a pistol when you threw it? I think I knew. I knew it was dangerous, at least. But the air was getting so thick that I panicked. So you're saying that you threw the pistol at Mr. Yogi?
So it should have shot at Yogi instead.
I was in a daze.
This is just getting more and more sketchy.
So the gun was fired once. Yeah. I think after I threw it, I lost consciousness.
Which is very fortunate for the person who actually did the killing.
Since then, I've had echoed in my head every day. That gunshot and the horrible scream. Scream. So, you remember the scream to this day?
So why
Yeah.
doesn't he remember it as his father screaming?
I could practically hear it now. I doubt I'd ever forget that scream as long as I live. There it is. One part of the testimony clearly contradicts the evidence, but I don't know what that means. I better find it out quick.
So we have a
little-
scream he can't identify as his father's scream. We have a dropped pistol with the safety off.
So, interesting thing. They actually removed a single piece of his dialogue, and it's basically him just saying, "That's all?" And it didn't add anything because when you were to press it, he's like, "That's it? That's it." And then it just immediately just jumps into it. So they just removed it in every future release because it didn't matter in the case.
So let me see the evidence again. Okay, so what have we got?
Related to Deal 6, we have Misty Faye, we have pistol and the gun, metal detector, Polly, the file, which, let me check.
Okay, no clues were found. There it is. The murder weapon was fired twice.
So, present it here.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Music turned off. Are you sure you only heard one gunshot? Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. I heard the shot and the scream. Then everything faded, and I was unconscious as the rescuers came. I see. No, Your Honor. Unfortunately, you don't. Look at this file one more time.
Someone should not have allowed him to keep that.
This plainly contradicts the witness's testimony.
It does.
You enjoy dragging that file out. You enjoy dragging that file out, don't you?
It has evidence on it.
I don't accept this evidence unless you can tell us what page it's on. What page? Victim. So you just looked at it. Look at the victim file. Victim data file. Quite plain. Yeah.
You okay?
It says quite plainly that the murder weapon was fired twice.
So where'd the second bullet go?
Miles Edgeworth only heard one gunshot. Yet the murder weapon was fired twice. First shot was the accidental firing when the pistol was thrown. So who fired the remaining shot?
Because at this point we don't know which shot killed him. And if it was the second shot, Miles is in the clear.
Was there perhaps another shooter who fired that second shot? Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. Pistol did fire twice, however we do not know when the second shot was fired.
Well, wait! There was no evidence at the scene of the crime.
It might have been fired the day before. There was no proof that the second shot had anything to do with this incident. What? I see.
No, you don't.
Do you have a point, Mr. Wright? Murder weapon was fired twice, as we have heard, but one of the shots was fired by the defendant, a boy at the time. Do you have any proof that the other shot was fired with something to do with the case?
Yes. Of course it did.
Your Honor, I think I'll be able to show you proof. What? Impossible. No, Mr. Von Karma. Save your surprise for after you've seen the evidence. Okay, Mr. Wright, show us your proof. Do you have evidence of the second firing of the pistol related to this incident?
It's the bagged... Is it the bagged bullet?
No, actually it's not. It's the picture. You see it?
How did I not ever notice that second bullet? I have looked at this picture tons of times. I've seen this picture before we began playing the game, too.
This is a photograph of the scene of the crime 15 years ago. I can see that the victim lying there is Gregory Edgeworth. This proves the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. This photo proves it. So, let me get this straight. This photo proves 2 shots were fired. Where? Your Honor, please get a clue.
And for all we know, that's Miles' shot.
Yeah. As it should be obvious, the contradiction is here. A bullet hole in the door? Your Honor, Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol. Yet there's also a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired that second shot.
And we don't know which one the second shot is.
Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at?
Well, I drove here in a car, sure, but I'm not driving anywhere right now.
It's simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One went in the Gregory Edgeworth's heart, the other hit the elevator door. Remember that the defendant lost consciousness after the shot he fired rang out. In conclusion, we must agree that the second shot was fired by someone else.
We can do that, because he was not present for that second shot.
Mr. Wright, who could that someone else be? The murderer, of course.
Whoa.
I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand.
Wild fantasies? There was a bullet hole in the glass elevator door, so really there should be oxygen.
You can't prove that that bullet hole appeared that day. It could have been from a different day.
Well, why didn't the bailiff mention it then?
The bailiff could have been there on a different day. Mr. Wright, look once more at the DL6 incident file. Look closely. Try the case summary page. That one's...
That one? That there's no evidence?
No clues found on the scene.
What about the bullet?
Is that literally... Is that literally
We have a bullet!
Look what is written there. Not a single clue was found on the scene.
So we got a bunch of,
The pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, and the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene. Like, he does have a point. That second bullet has never been found. Why?
I know where the other bullet is.
Because the second bullet does not exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son. That is the truth of the matter, the whole truth.
Then what about the other bullet hole then?
It was undoubtedly something else that made that bullet hole in the door.
So are we saying that there was a ricochet, that the bullet went out of Gregory Edgeworth and hit the glass door?
Order, I will have order. Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly. That the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. Von Karma says, the second bullet was not found. it is highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked this second bullet. So all we have is the single bullet fired. I'm afraid I have to discount the defense's claims. I praise the judge for his wisdom in the matter.
Oh, you won't be soon.
How did this happen? I don't believe that the second bullet didn't exist. Was I wrong?
No.
Have I been wrong about this whole incident?
Phoenix, I'm gonna shake you. Maya's on the same page as me. Why aren't you raising a single objection? Is everyone here insane?
Oh, I'm sorry, Maya.
What?
It looks like I was wrong.
Nick?
The second bullet wasn't there, then all my conjectures are for nothing.
She just starts shaking him violently. You're an idiot. But you said you'd do it, Nick. You said you'd declare Edward the... Blah. You said you'd get Edward declared innocent.
I'm sorry. It's just... I saw the photograph. I thought 2 shots had been fired.
Well, obviously they did. Where'd the other bullet hole come from?
I'm so certain of it. I thought I'd won. But... I thought there was another person someone else who had fired the killing shot, and now... I guess I was wrong to think it could be that simple. For this case was
got the same mad dog face I do.
This case has stood unsolved for 15 years.
Nick?
Well, it seems we finally cleared up this incident. Only 1 bullet was found on the scene of the crime. That shot was fired by Miles Edward. Precisely. I would like to ask Miles Edwards one more thing before I pass my verdict. Have you been paying attention to the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any objections? No. No, I do not. So you killed your father, and though it was not your intention. Yes, I did.
Oh no. He has accepted the guilt.
Very well. Statute of limitation of the murder of Gregory Edwards runs out today, so therefore I must pronounce the verdict on the defendant today, right here. Right now. Indeed. Does anyone have any objections?
I do.
I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There's so many things I know I should be saying, but mine's gone blank and I can't find the words. Your Honor, I object.
I can't
Mr.
wait to
Wright.
put that smug face behind bars.
On what grounds do you object?
Nick.
I don't know. His case is perfect.
Oh no, you're an idiot.
It must exist. Oh.
The second bullet.
What? Did you just say something?
No, nothing.
Second bullet must exist. But where?
Someone took it.
It seems Wright is not going to produce any answer from Mr. Wright. Wait, Your Honor. The second bullet, it existed. What? Well, we just heard proof that it did not. Yeah, I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. Someone took it from the scene of the crime. That's what happened. But who? The murderer. The murderer? Then tell us just who this murderer is. I'm still thinking about that one. So the criminal took the second bullet, but why? Huh?
To cover up the fact that the second bullet had been shot. Because he was worth a couple brain cells and still had a functioning brain, unlike the 3 unconscious people in the elevator who couldn't have taken it.
First of all, how would they have found it? It's not so easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for that bullet?
The murderer had to find it.
Why would the murderer have spent time to look for a stray bullet?
Oh!
What's wrong, Mr. Wright? Bah. Murderer had no reason to take that bullet. You just don't want to admit it's true.
Had to take it.
He had to take it.
You're thinking too normal. She leans in. Think crazy. Don't think why the bullet was taken. Think why the bullet had to be taken.
Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I have no idea what I'm doing.
I'm partially possessed.
Well, the murderer had no intention of taking the bullet from the scene. But the murderer had to take the bullet. Had to, Mr. Wright? What do you mean? Well, for instance, what? Maybe the bullet, hit the murderer? The bullet hit the murderer? I'm just saying, of course. I mean, if it hit you, you would have to take it with you, wouldn't you? It's not like you could perform surgery right there. You know? Wait a second. I was just talking off the top of my head, but...
Von Karma's just sweating bullets right there. It's like, ah!
But what if that's what really happened? So, let me get this straight. So at the time of the murderer himself was shot. And they left with the second bullet inside of them.
They left with the first bullet inside of them.
Thus leaving only one bullet at the scene of the crime. Yes, that's how it worked, yes. But there's no proof of that. The other two people rescued from the elevator, Miles Edgeworth and Yanni Yogi, were both unharmed. So that would mean the murderer came from outside, yes. Which, this is actually one of the biggest plot holes in this game.
Uh-huh.
They are trapped on that elevator for 5 hours. They were working to get this down. At the time, someone was outside the elevator, took the bullet, opened the door, and then shot Gregory. And then left them in there to finish being rescued.
Wouldn't someone have seen someone prying the doors open? But this series has never ever been about actual logic, so I guess we'll have to let that slide. Even though it should have been documented in the court report that the door had been opened.
2 men find inside the elevator. Trying to stop them, the boy picks up the pistol at his feet and throws it. Pistol discharges, and the bullet goes through the elevator door and hits the murderer outside. Boy loses consciousness, and then the murderer opens the door and sees the men inside. Mr. Wright, you are truly the most unpredictable defense attorney I've ever known.
We should fire you.
I can tell you're grasping, yet I cannot deny the possibility of what you're saying. What are you saying? Deny it. No one involved in the incident was wounded. There was no murderer. No one was wounded at the time of the incident. You're right, but I can't think of anyone.
Hey, Nick.
Huh?
I just thought of something really crazy. Probably from my dead sister who put the thought in my head, but we're just going to skip over that.
Crazy?
Remember what Mr. Grossberg said yesterday?
Gregory Edgeworth dealt a blow to his perfect trial record.
Wow.
It must have been quite the shock for Karma. Took a vacation several months after that, you see. Yeah, unusual event for the man, but it was his first and last vacation he had taken in many years as prosecutor.
Yeah, why would he need to take a sudden vacation? What if Von Karma didn't take that vacation because of shock?
But he took it because he was injured.
Which would mean...
It could mean one thing.
He was the murderer in the DL6 incident.
And we
wait. He was the murderer in the DL6 incident!
And we are going to confront him next time.
Okay.
See you guys then.
See you guys, bye.
Bye.